Bay Area.
Ooh, but we start with Super Bowl 59. Hit the music, hit the bells, and we're going to hit the streets. We have both sides covered with Sal Paolantonio, screen right, with the Eagles, and Jeff Darlington with the Chiefs. And we start on elevated platform with Jeff Darlington live in the Crescent City. How about it, Jeff? We have these teams covered. You were with the champs, the reigning champs, and they're looking for, the three-peat, as we've batted around a few times on this desk. What are the Chiefs saying here, as we are, what we say, about 52, now less than 52 hours away, about stopping Saquon Barkley specifically?
Well, yeah, and we'll get to that. We are right now elevated above Canal Street, right across from the team hotel, where the Chiefs are expected to arrive back here in about, I'd say, a half hour. Practice just wrapping up about 20 minutes away from here. And on those buses that will pull up is a man named Chris Jones, who has been tasked with helping to stop Saquon Barkley. This Chiefs team in the postseason has been tremendous when it comes to stopping opposing rushers. They've gone 18 consecutive playoff games without allowing a 100-yard rusher. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is trying to stop that trend. Jones is so important, and I really, listening to Patrick Mahomes talk about him, you can get that sense.
I think Chris Jones' role and just our entire defense in general is undervalued. I mean, people talk about him, and when you look back on his career, when he gets his gold jacket, we're going to realize how special he is. I think he's just as important as me and Travis are to this team, and Coach Reed and everybody. He's part of that. It's not just the run game, it's the pass game. Whatever it takes to win the game, he's going to make the big play happen. And he helps the entire defense. He's going to do whatever it takes. If he's getting double teamed, he's going to do whatever he can to beat that double team so other guys have opportunities. And so I think people have realized now he's important, but it's not even close to the value that I think that people are going to look back on his career and realize how important he was to this team.
Well, stopping that run will be oh so important. Chris Jones, a big part of that. But to give a sense of how much Saquon Barkley is resonating over this game and this Chiefs team, it's on offense as well. Isaiah Pacheco saying that he has a picture of himself with Saquon Barkley that he treasures. He basically came up in this league really looking at Saquon Barkley with huge respect. Both sides of the ball understanding how important Barkley is to this game. The Chiefs' run defense trying to keep up the trend that they've had, and it will have to be a huge challenge against Saquon Barkley.
All right, Jeff, yes, that's why both Gary and I have a photograph of you here on the desk. Thank you so much, Jeff Darlington,
Yes.
with the AFC champs. Gary, over to you.
In my wallet right here. Hey, rocking Sunday's best on a football Friday. You know you got to step correct when you're Louisiana's native son. Swagoo in the building. And we're going to actually hone in on your expertise on defense and really what Jeff Darlington was just talking about. What is the most critical aspect of this Chiefs game plan if they are to pull off the three-peat, Swagoo?
It's penetration in the interior of the defensive line, G. And the one thing that the reason why Chris Jones is so prevalent is because the Philadelphia Eagles likes to pull their guards. They like to move their big guys in space. And penetration not only knocks those guys off course, it muddies up what's behind the line of scrimmage. I'm a firm believer that the Chiefs' defensive line and linebackers are going to try to have to play this game a yard in the backfield, meaning creating a new line of scrimmage. All running backs, their number one issue becomes the avoidance of trash. But Saquon is special in a way that if he gets his shoulders north and south and he can beam on one of those linebackers or one of those safeties, we've seen him make those guys miss continuously throughout the course of the season, which is why he has so many explosive plays. So the key for the Kansas City Chiefs defense, the defensive line specifically, and honing in on Chris Jones is going to be to make sure that you can create some mess in the backfield. And y'all know me, I'm messy, so I hope that it's a mess in the backfield.
You know the Eagles are going to get those one-step forward plays, but if the Chiefs can force them to take those two-step back plays, maybe a handful of time, maybe, just maybe here. But if the Chiefs are able to pull off this three-peat, it would be certainly NFL history. Swagoo, how would you rank their accomplishment across sports here?
Yeah, it'll be one of the greatest dynasties ever. I mean, look, we know how hard it is to win in this league. The beautiful thing about football is once you get into the playoffs, it's one and done. You don't have series to get better and make an adjustment to a team like the NBA or in the major leagues where you're going to play a few times. So it's rare. It's do or die every time you step on the field. And for Kansas City, they've come out on top for majority of those situations. But the fact that you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and this rapport that these guys have and the way they've done it as well. We are talking about a quarterback that's about to play in the Super Bowl as threatening Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, which is nothing we all thought would realistically happen this fast after watching Tom Brady's career. You look at Andy Reid, time in Philadelphia, phenomenal coach, was able to reach a Super Bowl, but now we put him in that conversation with the greatest coaches of all time in this league. So much has changed in Kansas City, so much impact on guys' futures and careers and how we have conversations about them. And as far as this team with the Hunt family and what they've been able to do, we would have to put them up there with the greatest dynasties to ever exist in professional sports.
Not just in the NFL, but across sports. That's Marcus telling it like it is. He's joining us a little bit later for some blind rankings. In the meantime, Randy, what you got?
All right, our guy Sal Paolantonio has been with the Eagles all postseason. Philadelphia is trying to slow and stop this historic significance talk with regard to the Chiefs. Sal, a one-on-one with Nick Sirianni. What's been his approach in getting his guys ready here for Super Bowl 59?
Well, since they've been on the practice field here in New Orleans, it's back to basics, alignment and assignment football. If you're going to stop the Chiefs and that offense in particular, you've got to be disciplined in your lanes and make sure you're disciplined when Patrick Mahomes II tries to evacuate the pocket. It's fundamentals, it's details. And here, my one-on-one conversation with Nick Sirianni, he talked about it. Listen to this.
The truth of this game will always come down to fundamentals, always, right? How do you block? How do you get off blocks? How do you take the football away? How do you protect the football? How do you tackle? How do you catch the ball, right? At the end of the day, big plays are, I think that sometimes we can get so overwhelmed with like, look at this scheme and look at that scheme, but it was the blocking, it was the catching, it was the route running. It was all those things, right? It was the ball security that made that play go. The truth of football, it's always going to come down to those details of how you execute and fundamentals. We spent a lot of time on that. We spent a lot of time detailing those things out.
And here in New Orleans, he has pivoted and made sure he's coaching his team hard. Focus and then refocus on the details. Why? He said to the team, listen, it's different here at the Super Bowl during the week. It's different in this game. You have different distractions. You must pick up and focus and refocus. They're on the practice field right now. They're about 7 miles away at the Saints practice facility. And on Friday, I'm told today, they are focusing on 20-yard in red zone offense and red zone offense and red zone defense, and then goal line defense and goal line offense. Remember, nobody's better at goal line offense on fourth down, and then the Philadelphia Eagles with the tush push. And tush push starts with T and P, timing and then push. And Lane Johnson told me this week what they have been studying is the TV copy of the game to try to figure out exactly what Jalen Hurts has been doing in his snap count, in his cadence. Why? Because that's what the Chiefs are doing. The Chiefs had great success on quarterback sneaks against Josh Allen because they studied his timing and cadence on quarterback sneaks. So they know the Chiefs are studying Jalen Hurts' timing and cadence on the tush push. Tush push, T and P, timing, and then if you get the right timing, you have the right push, the right leverage. And the Eagles have been over 90% in their conversion rate on the tush push, or as we like to say in Philly, brotherly shove. The city likes shove you back.
The city that shoves you back. I like what Sirianni said about the truths of football. It sounds like a fundamental altruism with this game. That's Sal Paolantonio with the very latest from New Orleans. Thank you, sir.
I got some more letters for you from TP to DO. He eats candy bars super regular. Now Dan Orlovsky joins the program. DO, if the Chiefs can somehow slow down Saquon Barkley, what needs to happen outside of that Phillies offense for them to find success?
Yeah, Gary, before that, I really like Sal's report on the timing of Jalen Hurts' cadence. I think it's a huge part of the game on every play because that's how Kansas City times up their blitzes, and I think that's a huge storyline for everyone to watch. If they're going to slow down Saquon Barkley in that run, those receivers are going to have to play really well, but I think each of them is going to have their moment in the middle of the field, in the slot. Kansas City's defense is fantastic. I do not expect them to play A.J. Brown one-on-one on the perimeter a lot. Devontae Smith is going to have to work the middle of the field on some of his crossing routes. And as good as the coverage unit is for Kansas City, they are the worst secondary in the NFL when it comes to covering what we call the slot receiver, the person who plays inside closest to some of those offensive tackles. I'd love to see Philly move A.J. Brown in there, move Devontae Smith in there a little bit more, maybe even a Dallas Goedert, to allow them to work the middle of the field if that defense is able to kind of converge on Saquon Barkley in that run game.
Those soft spots certainly going to be something to look for on Sunday evening. On the defensive side for Philly, obviously, goal number one, stop Patrick Mahomes, or at least try to contain him. Who needs to step up to affect Mahomes and this Chiefs offense?
Yeah, everyone talked about Jalen Carter this week, rightfully so. For me, the guy is Nolan Smith. Okay, so Jalen Carter is going to line up more often than not, unless something drastically changes, to Kansas City's right. Trey Smith's an all-pro caliber guard. Nolan Smith is the guy that has the matchup advantage against Jawan Taylor at right tackle. Nolan Smith is the guy that ever since Brandon Graham has gone down, his play has gone up, his production has gone up. I would be shocked if Kansas City consistently just played Jalen Carter one-on-one. I would not be surprised if Nolan Smith gets a ton of one-on-one opportunities. I think he has the chance to dominate the game if Philadelphia's defense is the storyline, both in the run and the pass. He's a huge, huge focus point of mine.
So somebody from Georgia, formerly of the Georgia Bulldogs, somebody stop Patrick Mahomes, whether it's on that defensive line or the secondary, certainly. Dan Orlovsky breaking it down this afternoon on SportsCenter. D.O., much appreciated.
NFL season as the most impactful of his NFL career. Right now, there's no doubt. His first under head coach Dave Canales, his first losing and then getting back his starting job. Closed the season by winning 2 of 3, throwing for 7 touchdowns, running for 3, and having exactly 0 interceptions. And we welcome in our Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young. And Bryce, you just kind of heard me say that. Like, what do you make of your second NFL season being perhaps your most formative, shaping your NFL career?
Yeah, I'm super grateful for the opportunity. You know, it was definitely a process and learning experience for me. But I'm super grateful for how it ended. I'm super excited for the offseason to continue to be building with the team, with the group.
BY, you're only a few years removed from winning the freaking Heisman Trophy. You got guys like Peyton Manning taking your defense, saying, you know, your first year is like learning German. Your second year in the league, which we just concluded, is like learning Latin. So what's it like hearing from a legend, and how are you able to take year 2 now into hopefully a more positive year 3?
Yeah, I'm super grateful for, you know, hearing a legend like that and all the people that I've talked to that I have so much respect for. Just give their opinions and hear their feedback. You know, they've Payne and a bunch of other people been gracious enough to just make themselves available for me, and I've asked them a ton of questions. So I'm always trying to build, and it's really surreal just as a fan of the game. I think now it's just trying to continue to grow with the team. Year 3 for me, but just us in general, want to make sure that we're building. I'm super proud of the team and how we finished, especially the end of the year and the season. That really meant a lot. And there's no other group I'd rather build with. So I think we all have the right attitude towards knowing that there's work to be done and want to get that work done individually and as a team.
Here's the thing, Bryce. We know, you know, it's no secret that the Carolina Panthers had to deal with some adversity. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, probably the biggest adversity you probably had to deal with in the locker room was what Xavier Legette was bringing in to eat. Whether it was squirrel, whether it was raccoon. Hey man, are you gonna follow his lead in the diet category? Did you try any of that? Do you make sure that your locker's far away so you don't catch any smells?
Oh, not at all. I have self-respect. I'm not trying to do that stuff.
Self-respect.
Yeah. Yeah, all that stuff is wild.
It's protein, though. Like, What if Xavier was like, hey, Bryce, man, seriously, just try some of it. Have you tried any of it, the squirrel that he says he catches in the backyard?
No.
Are you going to?
No, if you can find it on the side of the road, I'm not eating it.
That's it.
And he's brought it in, too. Like, he's brought it in, offered to me, to everyone. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah, there's country, and then there's Xavier Legette country. Like, do you wish there were subtitles for this man?
Yeah, it was like you just have to learn. Like, you just got to lock in. Once you got there, it's not too bad. I went to Bama, so
Correct.
I've definitely, like, now I've heard some people talk. He's at the top of the list for sure.
Bryce, you're obviously down there in New Orleans ahead of the Super Bowl. You were one of the teams and players who actually got to face both of these teams in the regular seasons, in the Chiefs and the Eagles. Actually, one of your best games of the season was against the Chiefs. You almost upset them. They only won by 3. But given your position and what you saw, which quarterback is in store for a bigger challenge?
Schematically, they really couldn't be more different. The Eagles are super simple in scheme, but execute at such a high level. The Chiefs do so much schematically. They still and also execute that as high level, which is super impressive. But as a quarterback, it's such a different approach playing against both of them. I have a ton of confidence in both those guys that I have a ton of respect for. So I think it'll just be interesting to see how they go about it, because it's a very, very different approach when you're scheming for both defenses.
Who do you like? You like the Chiefs? You like the Eagles?
No one wants to hear it, and it's the boring answer. It's just whoever plays better.
Okay.
I mean, when you're playing at that high, especially those teams that are so good, just whoever shows up that day. If I feel like if they play this Super Bowl 10 times, they probably go 5-5.
Okay, I got a real quick question before we say goodbye to Bryce. If you're not going to pick a winner of the game, at least do us this favor, Bryce. If you had to choose between eating some of Xavier Legette's squirrel that he brings in the locker room or eating some of the raccoon he brings in the locker room, which one, if you have to oblige your receiver, are you eating?
I'd rather pick a winner for the game.
But here's the thing. You take the guy out of Coach Saban's locker room, right? He still has the media sensibility. He's not going to give us a pick, not going to give us bulletin board material. Bryce, congratulations on the second season, rebounding the way you did. Here's to all the best of luck and health in year 3. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Go back with us, Gary Streisky, Randy Scott. Listen, we talked about the obvious guys. We've done it for weeks, almost 2 of them now. Saquon, Mahomes. We want you to rank.
Guys.
Yeah.
Guys. I don't hear you.
Oh, what?
I do not hear you right now, and we're going to get it figured out. Don't say what, Randy, like TV don't happen. It's just sometimes it happens. I'm reading lips right now.
You're reading lips right now?
Here we go. We're going to blind rank.
There it is.
There you go. There you guys go.
Blind
there you
read
go.
this? We're going to blind rank.
I think we got it.
Oh, we got him now.
I
got you. I got you now. Yeah, I got you.
Okay,
I got you. All good.
Hiccups happen all the time.
I'm not being held hostage, guys.
Blink, Swagoo, if you need.
You got Orlovsky standing next to you with some unseasoned chicken. All right, we want you to rank other important difference makers, right? After talking about Mahomes and Barkley all week, right? In a top 5 blind reveal. You see this on social media all the time. So you got a slot wherever these names come in. You do it however you see best. But listen, the first name's a good one. Chris Jones. Number 1 is most impactful. Number 5 is least impactful out of this 5. First name we're throwing is Chris Jones. Where are you putting him? 1 through 5.
2. I'm putting him at 2. I'm putting him at 2. And I know, if you ask me about both quarterbacks, I'm not going to change it. I think he's that important. We talked about his ability up front to try to create havoc, but also getting after the passer, just trying to create these negative plays. Fellas, how many times have we seen Chris Jones make a critical play at a critical time in a game that probably swayed the outcome? So I'm going to put him at 2, and the only reason is because it might be some other names that's most important, which everybody knows why.
See, when you do these blind rankings, you got to have a little buffer zone. All right, next name, Jalen Carter.
Yeah, 3. I'm going to put him at 3, man. And if y'all don't have a damn quarterback on this list, we're going to fight when I show up to Bristol, because I think he's that important as well, especially interior rush. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to have a plan for number 98. And anytime you leave him one-on-one, Patrick Mahomes is going to make sure he works fast, because Jalen Carter has been a nuisance. If you look at the game against the Los Angeles Rams as that last highlight we showed, you can make an argument that he made the 2 most important plays against Matthew Stafford, whether it was the sack or the pressure at the end of the game, that probably knocked off the opportunity for them to score, for the Rams to score a touchdown. He's going to be critical. We know the type of impact that he's had, so I put him at number 3.
Full disclosure, we do not have a quarterback on this list. We said we would talk about the quarterbacks all week, so we're going to throw some other names at you and ask you for impact, okay?
That was the part he couldn't hear.
In the interest of avoiding a beating, yeah, I think that was when the microphone situation was not working. So you got 2 and 3 covered. Here's an easy one. Harrison Butker. Where's he rank in the final 3 spots?
Oh.
Special teams, special players.
What's up, brother?
4.
Oh,
4. Okay, listen. I know how critical it can be if they need a field goal to win the game, and obviously this list is going to look super dumb if he kicks a field goal to win the game, because then it'll end up him being the most impactful in the critical moment. But I'll put him at 4. I think this game is going to be played with the superstars, y'all.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be about the Mahomes and the Chris Jones and the Carters and the Saquon Barkleys and the Jalen Hurts and all of the names that we can list with the superstars that are on this team. I think they're going to have more of an impactful determination of this game.
Okay.
But obviously, we can't rule Harrison Butker out.
Yeah, all right. Great explanation. Dallas Goedert.
Yeah. I go 5 with Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
He's going to have to be critical to the answers of third down blitz by Steve Spagnuolo. And Jalen seems like that's the trust over the middle of the field. It's something we've talked about all season long, and especially in these playoffs, is that they haven't attacked the middle of the field in Philly as you would think. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that they've ran it well. And more importantly, they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside. Goddard is going to have to be a big answer to third down pressure at times. And I expect him to have some impact plays in critical downs.
We're going to end on Travis Kelce.
It's awesome.
Number 1. I mean, he's the only one left.
I feel I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, fellas. I would have put him at 1. I would have put him at 1 anyway. Yes.
That's a great list,
He said the
actually.
stars. Yeah, he said the stars are going to decide it. Kelce.